communication issues, keeping it short, even with practice, we still struggle to having a relationship with someone we like, talking to people doesn't last that long, going on outings, sometimes alone, sure is upsetting, but I'm sure we're fine, talking to our friends, can have some issues, constantly asking the same questions to them. Who am I? I'm a human too. I'm just like you with ASD. Who am I? I'm a human too. I'm just like you with ASD.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Autism Stories, where we connect you with amazing people that help teens and adults with autism become more independent and successful. I'm your host, Doug Bletcher, the founder of Autism Personal Coach. I founded Autism Personal Coach 6 years ago because I wanted to see as many teens and adults with autism as possible find their personal strength and become successful, and hopefully I would be a part in helping with that process. Today we are going to talk with Maverick Crawford, who has certainly found his personal strength and achieved his goals in life. Maverick was diagnosed with autism at the age of 6, as well as severe speech impediment, mental retardation, expressive and receptive language disorder, sensory integration dysfunction, auditory processing disorder, dysgraphia, a seizure disorder, anxiety, and depression. Maverick not only overcame all of this to graduate as a double major from the University of Texas at San Antonio with a 3.7 GPA, but is the author of the book Overcoming the Odds, My Journey to Finding Personal Strength and Triumph, and an inspiration to all who hear his story. We hope you enjoy today's conversation. Maverick, thank you so much for joining us today and for giving me the opportunity to interview you. You definitely have a very inspiring life story. I know you were diagnosed with autism at the age of 6 and have talked about how social situations were something you never understood and was something you tried to avoid. Now as an adult, how do you deal with those situations, and what have you learned to make those situations less challenging?
I'm trying to get clarification on what is it being asked of me. Try to get them to clarify things, like try to get them to clarify, because sometimes I don't understand what to say or what to expect or what them to say back to me. And I learned to accept myself as a person. I had failed a couple of times at suicide, so I learned that helped me to be more accepting of myself, and I learned to have a more optimistic approach.
Now, I read throughout your childhood about really horrific physical and emotional abuse that towards you from not only your family members, but also while you were in school. It must have taken so much courage to overcome this, but what else was helpful to you in overcoming these awful traumas?
I surrounded myself with people who believed in me. Like that happened until I got to college. I surrounded myself with people and my teachers, disability staff in college that helped me to get up to speed with different disability issues and rights that I had as a college student with a disability. So they helped me with my writing, my communication skills, and things like that. So they really worked work with me through those times.
Were there any, like, dealing with the trauma that you've dealt with, were there any professionals that were helpful in helping you to deal with those?
Professionals, not really. Not really. It wasn't until I became 20. When I turned 22, I started seeing a professional psychotherapist at an institution, and they have been very beneficial to me. So I had to wait till I was 22 years old to find a right therapist who can help me. And the psychiatrist is real understanding my situation and me having autism. So they've been very beneficial in teaching me a lot of things, how the coping mechanisms, learning to accept myself, how to manage autism. So it really helped me grow. And that's why I was really inspired to write my book, because of people who believed in me, and they even inspired me to write a book as well. So that's how that process started.
That's great. Now, I know you recently graduated with 2 degrees from the University of Texas, San Antonio. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You said that autism has been your number one component to your success in school. Can you explain or go in depth a little bit more about what you mean?
So how autism became my number one component is because it allowed me to have deep focus on my work, to be attentive to detail, to be great working alone, and I was able to use my mind and use the power of autism to get my studies done. So I was very attentive to detail and getting my work completed, my test, studies for test. I was very attentive to that, making sure things were correct. Just all symptoms of autism, the characteristics of autism that a person has, I was able to do. I was able to with having autism, and it wasn't easy. It was nowhere easy. I had to find this out on my own, but I just learned to accept myself, accept my disability, and do the best I can with the disability that I have, and just learn how to manage my time. And I was able to keep a little journal, a little agenda of what things I should be doing and what's at that time, and then I use that to keep up with my assignments, a little agenda, and with that agenda, I use that agenda to. If I have a question on assignment, I just ask my professors, and they help me get clarification. I always went to my professors. I knocked on their door, went to office hours, and explained to them what issue that was having. I learned that. It took me a long time to learn that, because having autism, you're very tranquil, you're very introverted. So I have to be a little more introverted with my professors in order for them to give me the help that I needed. And autism has allowed me to remain humble in spirit and to take small steps and achieve my goals. So I set small goals for myself, and I achieved those. Like if I study for 1 hour a day for one class, I take the class for an hour a day, and I keep that consistently going. I learn how to I set small goals for myself, and I celebrate those small goals when I achieve them. And also perseverance. Also, the 3 letters that do define me is perseverance, ambition, and humility. Perseverance because of the obstacles I have continued to move forward. Ambition defines me because I have a strong desire to achieve the highest level, no matter what disability I have. And humility is because of the qualifications I have, because I'm willing to allow my actions to speak, my contributions I made in the community to speak for myself. And I like the return of helping those with autism succeed and do well in life, because that's what I look forward to in life, and I don't expect anything in return. And I feel like an outcast, but I remain humble, persevere, and ambition in spirit, because I have to do things on my own. I have to do things my way, because I I didn't have nobody to teach me how to study for tests, write papers, or anything like that. I had nobody to teach me how to succeed in college, how to do things on my own. I had to find a way to get things done. I had to find my own unique way to get my assignments done, to be organized in my schoolwork and stuff like that. I had to be disciplined. I had to learn discipline, learn self-discipline, communication, and things like that to help me succeed in college, and that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned briefly about keeping a journal. Can you share a little bit more about how that helps you?
I kept a journal, and in the journal, I kept my assignments in there, my feelings, my thoughts, how I feel about different assignments. And I'll write that down. In case if I get a math equation, I don't know how to solve it, I write that down. I had a math equation for homework. I don't know how to solve it. And I remind myself I need to go speak to my professor to get clarification. So once I have that note in my journal, I said, okay, I'm going to go talk to my professor and get clarification on how to solve this formula that I wrote down in my journal. And then they teach me how to do it step by step. And then I write in my journal, okay, I know how to do it now. But when I do that, once I get it down, and also I put my feelings in there as well, because how I felt that day. If I felt good, I felt bad, indifferent, things like that. I wrote a quote in my journal because that's how I kind of wrote my book. I had feelings and diaries and things like that kept messages and positive messages. I replaced the negative messages in my head with positive messages. Like, for example, if I said I feel worthless, I put next to it, I said I am worthy of succeeding in college. And I put that, and I keep repeating that to myself over and over again because I want to inspire myself that I am worthy. I can do things. I can go to college. I can succeed. I can graduate. I can do anything I put my mind to because I want myself to get that thinking going, because I want to keep the journal for positive reinforcement and for keeping my assignments as well. So it's a journal, it's a diary, it's a positive reinforcement all in one.
I love that. Now, I know, so your degrees are from the University of Texas, San Antonio, are in criminal justice and in public administration. Why did you decide to study these two fields?
Criminal justice because I like to see the system do things differently than just punishing people and arresting them and taking them to jail. I want to see the non-punitive side of the system. I want to see that the system advocates the needs for people with disabilities who enter the system. And say for an example, people with autism have the issue with them. One of the challenges they have is child pornography. I see some studies about child pornography and autism, and how they get involved in those types of crimes. So, and the system usually treats them like everybody else, but you can't do that. You gotta treat them differently. You gotta treat them differently. You gotta let them understand. Like it's almost like you're talking to a juvenile. That's why you gotta talk to the person with autism. Tell them why they're getting arrested, why they're going to jail, what's going on, what's gonna happen, how they're gonna post bond. Just tell them detail by detail or step by step what's gonna happen next. Same thing with arresting a person with autism or police officer interacting with people with autism. You want to be very detailed and very concise, and also very compassionate when you're talking to them, because you want them to be feel comfortable around you, and that you're not telling them anything to hurt them. You don't want to hurt them. So that's why I want to do my criminal justice degree, is to help law enforcement, help judges, help lawyers, help them understand how to meet the needs of people with autism and disabilities, how to treat them in law enforcement when they get in trouble. And for public administration, I wanted to change policies that deal with people with disabilities. I wanted to learn more about policies and how they affect people with disabilities, especially autism, because there's a lot of policies out there in the world that hinder people with disabilities, like STARS, Texas Workforce Commission. They put people in jobs with people with autism. They're menial jobs. They're like bagging groceries, things like that. They're menial jobs. They can do so much more than just bagging groceries. That's why I want to help make policies to determine that the mindset of people with autism, they can do so much. They can do a whole lot with besides bagging groceries. So I want to be able to make policies that determine the aptitude of a person with autism and match it with jobs that matches their interests, what they can do, and things like that. So all of them about policies, also law enforcement policies, dealing with people with autism, which I discussed about police officers interacting with people with autism, also different ways of how to help and coach, be a mentor, things like that. So there's a lot I can do with public administration. So I just being a voice for the voices and offering them resources and mentorship and things like that I never got when I was growing up. So just being that voice for people with autism and just learning how to work with them is what I want to do my degree in public administration.
Now, since 2018, you've been an intern for the United States Western District Court of Texas as a pretrial services officer. Have you encountered many people with autism during this time? And if so, how have you been able to support them going through the court system?
So I have encountered people with autism in the system, especially with child pornography cases. I was one of the ones that helped out with people with autism that comes before the courts and helping the pretrial officers be able to supervise them while they're being released and awaiting trial. So I had 2 interviews. I asked them questions about their background and determined if they should be released on bond, which both of them were. At the end, I found that they had autism, both had autism. So I had to explain to the pretrial officers about what autism was, what the symptoms were, how can you talk to them and things like that. I had to teach them all of that. At first hand. So I had to explain that they need a strict routine to follow, a strict guideline routine, and so they can adhere to it. And this helped me learn to be more about the administrative court system and how the material I learned in the classroom apply outside the classroom. And it's a very toxic combination of autism and adults who commit child pornography crimes because their minds are childlike, and they proceed to computer graphics to simulate their sexual desires. So they assigned me the cases to help deal with them. I gave them notes about when to show up for appointments for the whole entire month. For example, I gave them a little outline that had their appointment dates on there. They meet January the 3rd. They meet back January the 17th. I wrote that down on the outline. I make sure I wrote down the conditions in the outline. I go over with them. Repeatedly, repetitively go over those guidelines with them. Make sure they're not going outside of the Western District of Texas. Making sure they're not engaged in the child pornography. No contact with the victims. Things like that. Making sure they follow those rules. If they have any questions, I'll thoroughly explain to them what sanctions can be placed against them if they commit any crimes that violate the condition of their release. I'm a big advocate for getting people the help that they need, so I'll refer them to counseling, therapy sessions, and things like that. And I'll make sure that they're getting plenty of therapy to alleviate and to get to the root of their problems, because because I don't want them to go to prison. I want them to get rehabilitated and be back in the world and be cured from this desire to look at child pornography. So that was my end goal, is making sure they get the therapy that they needed. And I report, and they making sure they know where it's located. There's an inpatient and outpatient, making sure they know where it is, the address, the phone number, the person to contact, things like that. I wrote all that down in this little outline that I give them, and also I wrote down for other preach officers that if I'm not available to speak to the defendant, that here is his conditions, or here's the outline. Let them know that they have autism, and this is the way you need to speak to them. You need to talk to. This is the way you need to talk to them. Like, be more compassionate care. Like you're talking to they're your like they're a counselor or a therapist. Like they're making sure that they trust you. They're there to help you, and then you're not being very angry or upset, yelling at them. They don't want you. That's the one thing people with autism do not respond well to, is somebody yelling at them and screaming at them for no reason. So you want to be very calm and courteous with your words, with your choice of words, and just doing those things. That's what I did an outline, and then just was very in detail with their court dates, their dates to meet with me, their treatment dates, the treatment sites, the center of the time, things like that, and making sure they understand where to go, and I have them repeat that back to what they're supposed to be doing daily. Once they get the hang of it, I make sure. For example, I have them call in and say what's the date that they go there to go to their therapist, and it'll turn January 3rd. And I keep making them do that, and once it gets stuck in their head, I try to use repetitious activities to do with them to make sure they remember their scheduled appointments. That way, it's not on paper. It's not only on paper, it's in their head as well. So, just finding ways to help people with autism thrive in, and just implementing those ways, and helping them understand how to deal with their resources, which I have the resources put on the outline as well. But just choosing what people with autism are good at, and then making sure they apply those things with the situation.
Now, something that I think is so valuable for those with autism is to be mentored by others on the spectrum who've had similar experiences. And I know that you were a mentor to high school students. Can you talk a little bit about how that not only helped the students you mentored, but what type of positive impact those students had on you?
It was a good impact. I learned I shared my story about me having autism, speech impediment, intellectual development disorder, and things like that. And I was able to speak to them. I was very nervous. I was sweating. I almost passed out from my presentation. But I was able to get through to it. My goal was to help the kids overcome obstacles in life, and to encourage them not to give up on their dreams or their aspirations. So I did that by sharing my story and my experiences at UTSA. What I did to people overcome those challenges and obstacles. And what touched me through the UTSA students told me that I really helped their mentee out, because their mentee was real quiet and shy. And that day they were very outgoing, and asking questions, and they really were inspired by my stories. I really pushed parts of the students there that was near high school, and I let them know that civic engagement is all about small steps, taking those small steps, and just striving with those small steps. And there were several things I learned about myself in the project. I learned how to put myself out of my comfort zone by helping students become civically engaged. Even all my life, I was shy and quiet and introverted, so I struggled with making friends and engaging in conversations with others, especially in a large setting. I would get very nervous and anxious when speaking in crowds.
Right.
But I learned how, to inspire others with my story, and that's all it was, just sharing my story with students, and then no matter what obstacles turn your way, you can overcome them and things like that. And my mentee was very shy and quiet too. She really spoke to me, but when that day I talked to, because of my small conversation I had with her, and also with the speech I gave, she started speaking to me more. And she said, "Thank you for sharing that story with me." She gave me a hug, and she said, "I'm very proud that you're my mentor, and I'm glad that we met. And I want to be like you when I grow up. You're such a great guy." And she was giving me all this positive feedback for my presentation. And it was a class that I took at UTSA for Public Administration. And we had 6 sessions. We all picked up on that session by ourselves individually with the new students, and mine was just overcome odds, obstacles. So I felt very good about what I did for Lanier High School, and for the students at Lanier High School. I was able to touch their heart, because that's all I wanted to get from that is just, did I touch their hearts? Did I make them feel? Did I inspire them? Did I touch their mind and give them a different way of thinking? That what did I do to help them out? Because some were going through a lot and going so much in that west side area of San Antonio. So you know what to expect. The kids may be angry, they may be fatherless, they may be all kinds of things. They may have a bunch of odds stacked against them. So I wanted to be that voice for them and say, no matter what's happening, what's going on in your life, don't give up. I tried to commit suicide 3 times. It didn't work for me. I'm still here. So just making sure whatever it takes, just get yourself together, stay on this earth. Do not commit suicide. Just keep yourself together. Don't give up. Seek help. Get counseling. Get therapy. Get yourself together. Beat the odds that you have, and just be that inspiration to other people. I recently talked to an autistic guy that had committed suicide. He wanted to jump off of a cliff, jump off of a bridge onto a highway and kill himself. And right before he was doing it, I stopped him. He started crying. I told him, what's going on? He said, I'm trying to jump off this bridge. I'm trying to kill myself. I said, no, you're not going to do that. I told him, what's his name? He was very frank with me. He responded by his name. He responded by who he was, how old he was, things like that. And I was able to speak to him. I said, no matter what's going on in your life, this is not the way to end. This is not the way to end your life. By jumping off a bridge. Come with me. Let me get you some help. Let me get you some counseling. Refer you to people. I have connections. I'm going to help you. And he said, and he told me off the bat, but I'll even be telling him that they have autism or they have a disability. He said, it's some type of autism. That's what he told me. He said it's some type of autism, which it kind of does stuff having autism because you do things differently. It does kind of suck, but it's a way to get through it. It's not by suicide. That's what I try to tell him. And he was crying a lot, breaking down. But he finally went with me, and we went on a bus. I took him to an inpatient treatment center where they kept him there for 3 days, and they got him evaluated. Autism did show up to evaluation, and they got him some therapy, some counseling. He's going to therapy, only counseling. I just talked to him on the phone maybe 2 days ago. He's doing real well. He's enrolled in college.
That's great.
At a community college. And he found himself employment. He's doing well for himself. He lives back with his parents, so he's doing well right now. He's my age. He's about 20. He's about 22, my age. And we both went to the same thing with our parents. So I was able to relate to this kid. So that's the satisfaction that I got from doing what I did, and that's why I enjoy helping people, being an inspiration. And things like that, because you never know what people are going through. And for him, he was going through suicide ideations and things like that, having autism, having it. So I was able to talk to him and speak to him and just tell him not to give up on yourself, not to commit suicide. Just think, do your best every day. That's all you can do. Just do your very best every day, and just pray. And I'm a Christian, guys. I said, just pray to God and get you some help and some therapy. That way you can get yourself together.
Now, I know you want to share your story to inspire others, and one of the ways that you've done that is you wrote a book, Overcoming the Odds, My Journey to Finding Personal Strength and Triumph. Can you share with all our listeners a little bit about the book and how people can go about purchasing it?
Yes, sir. My book is a memoir based on my challenges and obstacles that have occurred in my life, such as autism, mental illness and abuse, and much more. It's primarily a sad, true story about the author, about a man with autism who nobody had high hopes for him. The doctor told him that he will never learn how to do anything. He'll be institutionalized until he dies. My first grade teacher told me that you'll be a couch potato because you'll be worthless because you can't do anything for yourself. Calling him the stupidest child in the world. It took a long time for the author to find that personal strength and triumph because nobody taught him how to be anything different other than being who he was for a long time, which was a quiet, shy, scared, disappointed, suicidal, autistic individual who didn't have nobody by his side who understood what was going on. Nobody taught me how to be a black man in society with disability and all the facts against me. So, all the fathers, black kids, single mother, dangerous community, low performing schools, bullied, no friends. Nobody believed in me, bad teachers, severe disabilities, and along with severe autism, which I was diagnosed at age of 6. And the author was unloved and born into the wrong family. I thought I was born to the wrong family because nobody understood my diagnosis. Nobody tried to understand my diagnosis. Nobody got any help for me or any training. Nobody was trained to do autism. There's no training instruction on how to do autism. So you're kind of stuck by yourself. There's no guide on how to direct people with autism. So I was kind of stuck. And my family didn't understand. They were not on doctors. Doctors were telling them wrong stuff, but they believed the doctors. They treated me differently because they feel like I couldn't do anything for myself. I couldn't do anything. And literally, I couldn't think for myself. I talked behind my brother who abused me. I tried like everybody else, and that didn't work for me. I tried committing suicide. That didn't work. I tried to block out from the ignorance of people. That didn't work. I tried to be perfect. That didn't work. I tried to continue to be happy. That didn't work. After all, I tried to do something different, which was to be on the right track and be an inspiration to people. Like I said, I committed suicide 3 times, but I lost, and I didn't succeed at all. And I'm glad I didn't succeed. I'm glad I did succeed, and I'm able to help other people overcome their obstacles and overcome what's going on with them. And inspiring them little by little, they can do anything that they put their mind to, and it doesn't matter what color you are. You can still go through things, overcome it like anybody else can, or no matter what disability you have, you can still go through things and overcome them. So that's what my book is about. All the challenges, all the obstacles laid out about what I went through and ways to overcome it. And I'll also write the second book, Autism in the Black Community, about different ways how autism affects those who are African American, and how they're brought up, how nobody understands them, and things like that. And also about suicide prevention as well. Suicide, first you have to be suicidal, and also research that was done about Black community with people with autism. That's what my second book is going to be about. Just those two components: Black community, autism, Black community, and suicide prevention as well. So, and back to my book that I just written. I've written it to inspire others that no matter what no matter what doctor, what lawyer, what your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, whoever, your therapist, whoever tell you you can't do anything wrong, you can't do anything, you cannot do anything with your life, they're wrong. You can do anything you put your mind to. That's why I wrote this book, to inspire others that they can do anything they put their mind to. Look at my story for an example. I came from destiny. I rose to something. I rose to being somebody with autism. Even with having autism, I rose to being a person that's inspirational, that's humble, that's me, that's able to do, that's able to put my life, get my life together and help other people out. So that's why I want to use my story with, just to inspire those that they can overcome obstacles and do anything put their minds to.
Well, Maverick, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Autism Personal Coach saves people with autism from feeling alone and being isolated. So often, teens and adults with autism struggle with anxiety and, as a result, don't have success in their lives. Autism Personal Coach is a unique service in that we help those with autism by working on meaningful, individualized goals in a setting in which they will be used so their anxiety is greatly reduced, and as a result, they can become more independent and successful. To get an autism coach for a loved one or yourself, it is very easy. All you have to do is email autismpersonalcoach@yahoo.com or call 216-336-5889 and request a coach today. Thank you, everyone, for listening today. I wanted to apologize for some of the sound issues from this week's podcast. They should be fixed for next week's episode, which will feature Thomas Edwards, who will talk about supporting people with autism in the workplace. Talk to you then.